I am going to do now is I'm just going to spend probably just 5 minutes or so sharing with you the plans around the next bit of work that we want to do. So I think what we've heard today, we've heard from 5 brilliant people that have all given us a different sense of how co-production works for individuals, for communities, for organisations and for the health and care system. And I think if we go back to what Donna's comment this morning, who one of the things that she did was reframed my question where I said, how can the NHS help people and communities? She reframed it to how can people and communities help the NHS? And I think the video that we've just seen from the Well communities is a really good example of how that can happen. How can the people and communities with lived experience start to help the NHS and the local authority to really work towards achieving the outcomes that we've all been working towards for a long time. If we think that as well, the stuff that we've heard from Holly, what Holly's told us as well is that when we give people some skills and experiences about the system and co-production, they can use that to sit alongside their lived experience work. And what also Holly's story told us is that almost creates a virtuous circle. Holly told us about how being involved in that national co-production team, the Lancashire and Cumbria co-production team, really helped to fill her confidence and give her skills, which helped to then set up the national group that she's got for young adults with kidney disease. So I think it's really interesting there that we really start to see that once we start to empower people and communities, that there's this virtual circle that means that they become stronger, bigger and better. Then also we heard from Ros after that with the digital co-production, and I think one of the really interesting things in which will be key to the way that we're going to work next is the stuff that Ross said around the iteration and the piloting and actually coming up with ideas and just starting to make those incremental moves to get further and further towards the goal that we want to achieve. And what we have set up, we've set up a little way in which we think that can now work, where we can start to test and pilot a couple of ways of working with people and communities so that they start to identify the needs that they feel need to be met, and that we start to, again, as Kerry's just said, start to create those professional friendships and relationships where we, in effect, kind of switch that power dynamic. So it's no longer about us as the NHS providing services for people, but it's about us as the NHS providing our clinical skill and expertise, our operational skill and expertise, the resources, which could include some of the money, and really brings that alongside your lived experience, knowledge and expertise to start to try and find a solution to the needs that you identify in a way that makes sense and is meaningful for you and your communities. So how we're going to do that, we haven't quite got the 13 million budget that Donna talked about before, but we have got a bit of cash which we are going to set aside, and what we want to do is provide some resources and some time and some support for community groups, for charities, for community interest companies to work alongside their professional colleagues in the NHS to identify a need, and to co-design and co-produce a community response to that need. And the way that's going to happen is we're going to have 5 workshops across Lancashire and South Cumbria between April and May. Workshop 1 to 3 will focus on co-production in action. So it'll be helping to increase people's knowledge, skill and confidence around co-production. It will also help, lots of different organisations in the community will be co-designing and co-producing stuff at different levels already. But what we hope that through those workshops is that we really start to give a sense of how people and communities can engage and respond to that need. And not just be passive recipients of care. So that's what workshops 1 to 3 is about. It's about looking at that co-production action and how people and communities can help respond. Workshop 4 and 5 then will be around pitching and bid writing. So at that point, hopefully, communities and charities will have identified a need that they think they can help meet, and then the workshops 4 and 5 will be providing anyone with additional support around bid writing or pitching your idea, because following all those workshops, there will be hosting of a show and fund event in June 2022. So at that point, what we will be asking people is to pitch their ideas, and we've got roughly we'll be looking to fund 3 to 5 groups with around £10,000 each to respond to the need that they've identified. Yep. So I'm going to pause there just to let people know if people have any questions or comments. Whilst I'm sharing my screen, I can't see the chat, so I don't know if there's any questions or comments that come up with chat, but I'll have a look in a second. But what we want people to do is to register if they're interested in these events, is to register as soon as possible at healthy@lsc.personalisedcare@nhs.net, just so that we can then start to form how those workshops will go and how they will run. And the workshops will be spread around the ICS. Oh, it's not on that screen. So they will be spread around the ICS in the different localities and the different play space that we've got. So I know we've got Blackburn, Preston, and a whole range of other places, so that there'll be that equal spread across the county and patch. So on that, I'm going to just stop sharing my screen so I can see if you're all still there, or to see if we've got any questions or comments about that process. Talib.
Yeah, it's just a question, I guess, in light of what we've heard today from all these different speakers and people putting comments in the chat, would be to genuinely get that feedback from people to say, is what we've designed the right vehicle, or do you think there's a better way of doing it? I'm not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater by any means, but I think that's a genuine ask. I don't know, and people actually know this is absolutely what we need, but I think getting that engagement from people would be great, because again, we might be tapping into certain groups and excluding other groups because of the way we've designed things. So a genuine, they might shoot me after this, but a genuine question. If you think there's a better way we can do it, or a better way of designing it, why don't you just say so? And then we could change things and at least say, well, we got some feedback from this session, that's why we've done it this way. If you're happy with it, equally also say, because sometimes people don't do that, might say it's great, let's just go with it as it is. But that'd be my takeaway from today, really, to bring what we've done today to life in respect of what we plan to do going forward. But great stuff, thank you.
Yeah, great comment there. So yeah, please do give us that feedback as well. So that's, as Talib said, that's the plan that we've got, but we're happy to iterate that if we get feedback from that. Okay, so I think then, so yeah, just looking at a few chats, model looks right, we need to spread the word to maximise, and yeah, that's key. That is key, spread the word. So again, I'm sure that Elliot and Emma Jane and Fred will be doing a lot of work around the comms of this, but really take that comms through your networks, through your communities, as well, to really spread the word.